win a second term as president, let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda. You're absolutely right.
There, President Obama joking about a second term at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But all kidding aside, what are his plans for another 4 years in office? Let's turn to our Washington insiders on this Monday morning, Democratic strategist Margie Omero and Republican strategist Matt Keelan. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Steve.
All right, Matt, let's start with you. Fast forward to next January. He's just won a second term. What does the President of the United States, Barack Obama, do?
Well, certainly I hope that that doesn't happen, but I think we're going to get a lot more of the same that we've seen from him the first 4 years. This guy doesn't know a problem that doesn't have a solution through a tax increase. He doesn't know how to cut spending. He doesn't know how to make tough decisions. I think you're going to see a big fight between him and Congress. So I do think Republicans will control Congress even if he is reelected, and we'll have a lot more of the same and a lot of tough times.
But, Matt, I understand you feel that he will usher in the biggest tax hike in history.
Well, he's already promised that. He's not going to take the Bush tax cuts and continue them. So as soon as that happens, taxes go up on everyone, every income earner in America, and he's already promised that.
Okay. Margie, what does the President of the United States do if he gets round two?
Well, I hope, as Matt said, it's more of the same, because we've had 26 months straight of private sector job growth and a tax cut
really
for 95%. Well, it's an improvement from where things began in 2008 with the problem that he inherited and the failed policies that, when you look at Mitt Romney, he says he wants to do the opposite of everything Obama's done. So I guess he wants to do the opposite of 26 months of private sector job growth and tax breaks for 95% of Americans. Those are the things that have happened under the President's administration, and I think he's going to continue to work to turn this economy around as he has before. Comprehensive immigration reform, I think, is something that's on the table for a lot of folks. It's something that Democrats worked with former President Bush on last time around. Education is another issue that Democrats and President Bush worked on together last time around. What I think remains to be seen is whether Republicans, whether they have control of the House and or the Senate. Either way, I think the President would like to continue to work with Republicans. They're the ones who have turned down grand bargains to cut spending and reform entitlements. We'll see if their attitudes change after this election.
All right, Matt and Margie, here's some of the things the President did mention. March 30th, in a speech, he said, and Margie just touched on this, he would try to do something about immigration reform, also energy independence, climate change, unemployment, housing, education reform, transitioning out of Afghanistan, which we are heading to. But, Matt, you know, Margie just touched on the job picture. What did they add last month? 115,000 jobs? I think Julia, that fictional character, Julia needs a job. And that's it's going to come back to the economy and jobs, and it's just not taken off.
Well, I love the Julia thing. I think has really backfired on him. But for small businesses and businesses in America, hope and change has really become, I hope I have time to change my shorts if this guy is reelected, because of how bad his policies have been to the job creators in America. People in the private sector are not feeling the positive things that Julia is talking about are in her ad commercial. Right now, the President has a big problem, and I think it's going to cost him this election, is that most Americans don't feel like the last 4 years have been good for them, and they look into the future and they see the next 4 years as the same type of policies, and they don't want them.
And Margie, going forward, though, if the President had a Republican Congress, how is he going to get anything done in 4 years that he couldn't get done in the last 2 years?
Well, I mean, I think the American middle class has gotten a message from Republicans. They're just not into us. I mean, they have consistently been against things that enjoy widespread support. There's been 4.25 million private sector jobs created under Obama. 95% of Americans have had a tax break. Yet you have Republicans willing to walk the plank.
But Margie, something like 70 or 80% of the country feels we are going down the wrong road.
Look. Clearly, the pace of recovery is not as fast as people would like, but really, do we want to go back to how things were in 2008? I mean, that's such a clear difference in policy and how go forward. And Mitt Romney is firmly in that old camp.
We are out
the president
of time,
himself
Matt,
asked
15 seconds.
The president himself asked us to judge him on 4 years. If he wasn't successful, he shouldn't get a second term. So I think we should just listen to the president.
All right. Matt and Margie, we thank you very much for joining us today from D.C.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
You bet.